It's time to teach the Husky puppy how to swim! Today we're going to talk about how we taught Eleanor how to swim. And yes, we did have to teach her how to swim. Some of you may be wondering why. Most Huskies can't naturally swim. They are not natural swimmers like Labradors or other water breeds. And part of the reason behind this is because of where Huskies are originally from. They weren't water dogs. They were built for snow and ice and frozen lakes, not open water lakes. So because of this, Huskies don't have the same natural swimming ability as a lot of other dogs. Now, if your Husky falls off of a dock or a boat into the water, are they gonna know how to swim? Well, sort of. They're just not gonna be very good at it, at least most of them. They're just not naturally good swimmers. So because of this, we like to take time with our Huskies to teach them how to swim while they're young. And there's a few different ways we go about doing this. The first is by using the doggy life jacket that you see Eleanor swimming in here. We've actually done this with a lot of our dogs when they were younger, starting them off with a life jacket. What this does is it teaches them buoyancy, it teaches them how to kick their legs properly, and it gives them a little bit of confidence when it comes to swimming. So when we first put Eleanor into the pool, she kind of freaked out a little bit, but we were right there to kind of make sure that she would be fine. The biggest thing when teaching your dogs to swim is to take it slow and to make sure you have a lot of treats. We were constantly trying to reward her. We bring the treats out a little bit in front of her face so that she'll swim towards them. You just need to be patient. If you put your dog in the water and they kind of panic and freak out, having one of these little dog floaties that you can set them in so they're still in the water can give them a place to kind of calm down and feel what's going on, figure out what's going on without actually being forced to swim. So a life jacket and a pool floaty for your dog is definitely something that I would advise when you're teaching your dog how to swim. It is very likely that you will see them splash their paws and kind of freak out a little bit. Put your hand underneath their chest, hold them up a little bit, or use the handle on the life jacket. You can even pick them up out of the water to kind of give them a little bit of a break, just so they can realize that, hey, everything's gonna be okay. Another thing that you want to do is make sure that your dogs are actually using all their legs to swim. You'll notice in the beginning of this, Eleanor wasn't really kicking her back legs as much as she was moving her front legs, and this is very typical when Huskies learn how to swim. And to kind of help this along, you can actually move their back feet for them if you need to, just so they know, hey, I can move all of my feet under the water. And then really, you just want to take your time and let them get used to doing this. With Kira, it took us putting her into the pool a couple of times before she got really comfortable with it. With Eleanor, this was her first time in the pool, and once Kira started running around, Eleanor just decided it was the most amazing thing, and we've actually been swimming a few times since then, and she really, really likes it. So some other things that you want to make sure you're doing when you're teaching your dog how to swim is don't stay in the water for an extended period of time. You want this to be a really positive, fun experience. So keep an eye on your dog. Don't let them get too tired. This is a very heavy activity for them, so they can get fatigued, especially if they're a little bit unsure and panicking a little bit. So don't stay in the water too long. Watch for them to get tired. And then, of course, the obvious one, do not leave your dogs in a pool unattended. Our pool is fenced in. We also have a cover for our pool. Those are definitely some things you need to consider. Be patient. Don't force your dog into this. Just take your time. Eventually, they will understand it. Towards the end of our swimming session with Eleanor, we actually took her life jacket off because we also want her to know that she can swim with it off and how that feels. So since she was doing so well on her first time, we put her into the pool with the life jacket off, and you can kind of see what happens here. Her butt kind of sinks a little bit, and then she kind of kicks her legs and they come back up, and then she kind of sinks a little bit. So she's definitely learning and realizing, hey, I can do this. And like I said, since then, we've been in the pool a couple more times with her, and she didn't even wear her life jacket because she got in on her own. So I do think she's going to be a pretty good water dog. So like I said, Huskies don't really know how to swim. They don't realize that they can actually swim. You kind of have to help them with that. They're not necessarily going to sink, but their back ends might go down in the water a little bit deeper while their paws kind of just splish splash around at the top. So you definitely want to be there encouraging them. Use treats. If your dog is toy driven, use toys. Anything you can use to kind of keep them in that forward motion. So another thing you can do is you can actually start your dogs off in a shallower pool or in a lake where they can actually touch, and then you can take them out a little bit deeper, but they can real easily go back to where they can walk again. That was actually how we taught Memphis how to swim, which is funny because Memphis therapist prefers to swim if she can walk out into the water more than if she has to step down into the water and immediately swim. So every single dog is going to be different. The biggest thing is you definitely want to encourage them to do this. Some people have asked me if they could teach their dogs to swim if they don't like water, and some dogs can be coaxed into doing this. They can be trained into swimming and learning that water is safe. It just takes a long time. You can use a lot of the same techniques we use to teach the puppy to swim. Treats, encouragement, take your time. Don't freak them out. If you put them in the water and they really start to panic, get them out of the water. Don't let them just sit there and panic, because it's just going to become a traumatic experience for them. So take your time, spend some time with your dogs, and eventually maybe they won't fear the water as much. The younger you start them out, the better it's going to be. So we hope this answered some of your questions on how to teach your dog to swim. If you have more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. As always, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay positive, dream big, and we will see you again soon. Goodbye, audience.